Now, networking is all about building relationships and connections with people who can and help you achieve your goals. It is one of the tools that helps entrepreneurs to build and grow their businesses. Now, I want us to expand further on this. I am joined by Rorisang Setlogelo, CEO of Roth Media Group, as well as Ricky Frankental, CEO of Vitrex. Thank you to both of you for joining us this evening. Now, let's start with you, Rorisang. I mean, you know, we've all been talked about this African sleeping giant. But now it seems that the giant is no longer asleep. You know, we do have historic and current challenges, but there's something exciting going on. So maybe let's start with Ignite 2024 and tell us a little bit about that and the exciting stuff going on this continent.
Absolutely. So this year, 11th year of Ignite is coming to Johannesburg. And it's very exciting because Johannesburg is the heart of our economy in terms of South Africa, and it's literally one of the key markets in Africa. So for the conference to be coming to Johannesburg is extremely exciting. And then I think the point of view that Johannesburg has in terms of connecting people and connecting entrepreneurs to opportunity is quite amazing. So what we're going to have at Ignite this year is just a confluence of business experts, business titans that are speakers at the speaker conference, as well as the most exciting, I think, African entertainment across the board. And I think one of the most important things is the work we will be doing to match entrepreneurs to their particular need states on the continent, which is one of the biggest things about the event this year. There will be a wonderful digital app where businesses are actually matching and having one-on-ones with each other and catching up post the event to ensure that what they're learning can actually be applied in their businesses, and any leads that they actually require can actually be enabled through this fantastic app that will ensure that post-event businesses are actually getting the support they need. In terms of the sleeping giant, I think we're seeing a second scramble for Africa that is going on. We're seeing that many European, American businesses are absolutely saturated in their markets, and the opportunity lives here, both in the young population that we have, both in the propensity for entrepreneurship. So we have a propensity for entrepreneurship, but we also have a need for entrepreneurship. Yeah. We know what youth unemployment looks like in the country. So imagine having a conference that actually ignites potential for entrepreneurs and actually ignites their dreams and hopes into what they can do on the continent. And as a Pan-Africanist, like, this is definitely right up my alley. I'm very excited to be a part of the event, and it's really brought us full circle. Come Sunday, we kick off one of the most exciting conferences I think the African continent has ever seen.
And it sounds like more than a conference when you're describing this app and being able to match entrepreneurs as well. And, you know, Ricky, you'll also be a part of this too. You're a formidable businessman. What do you make of such events as well?
Look, Africa's a great market, but only if you work with the right people. You need to have local knowledge. You need to know how to operate in these different environments. Each country's got its own little differences, and what we really want to do with our conference is make sure that the entrepreneurs from EO in Kenya and Tanzania and Nigeria are working with local South African entrepreneurs, so we start to collaborate more. If we want to go to these markets, or if they want to come to our markets, they need to know how it works, and we need to partner more effectively. But we work in these silos. We don't build bridges. We don't build these connections, and the conference's job is to try and create that connectivity. We've also, you know, we're doing this event with the Entrepreneurs Organization. We're both members of this organization, and it's a global organization. So we've marketed this event overseas to entrepreneurs around the world, and as Rory said, Africa's where the demographics lie. Europe is stagnating. America's stagnating in terms of demographics. There's no young people in those markets. Africa's got the demographics for growth over the next 20, 30 years, and a lot of needs need to be met. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity here. And we're well placed to take advantage of that and work with overseas companies who are trying to come here, as well as with other African entrepreneurs who are trying to bring concepts into their markets. We need to work together.
You know, when you make mention that, you know, Europe is stagnating as well, when we look at the intra-trade statistics as well, Africa is only standing at 14% of trading with amongst one another with countries, whereas Europe is above 70% and Asia at 60%. So there's lots of potential and lots of room for growth. But there also seems to be an appetite in legislation. You know, last week on this very program, we had the Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade, and that's off the back of that announcement in January about the Free Trade Area Agreement, which sets to ease trade amongst African countries. So this conference comes off the back of legislation also coming to the party, of politicians coming to the party. And would you say that business is already ready, has been already waiting at the table?
I think business is anxiously trying to get things done, and the frameworks need to be there. I think you can trade in these countries, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
And it's difficult for overseas players to understand how things work. I work with an American and European manufacturer of a specific product for my company, Vitrex. We manufacture whiteboards for the education sector. So we should be working throughout Africa. But every country is different. The little frameworks are different. Engaging with government's not necessarily easy. So, you know, we need to figure out ways to make it a bit more consistent so that we can roll out concepts more effectively. It's very difficult in South Africa to build a concept and scale it from South Africa into Africa, because it's just so difficult to move up into Africa. And if we could open that up and make that easier, businesses could scale locally without having to try and find ways to export from South Africa to other markets where it's hard. It's hard to move and sell into America or Europe. It would be much easier if we could move up the continent. So I'd like to see more of that happening, and hopefully, you know, building these relationships, building these bridges will help. And future conferences would be great if we had more government participation in these conferences, because I think that would start to open the conversation further.
And also because these kinds of conversations and conferences take a look at problems that government does have to tackle. Unemployment, which is something you had mentioned earlier, Rorisang. Let's talk about building these relationships as well. You know, Ricky was mentioning that doing business in a particular country, it is also important that you know the local community, that you know the local language, you know the nuances as well. What are some of these benefits of networking? Because I know that's something you're also quite passionate about.
Absolutely. So in 2019, I scaled Roth Media into Kenya, into Cameroon, and into Zambia. We got satellite offices. We spent significant time in the markets to learn how to export our products and services into those markets. And Masa, I'll tell you, one of the key things I learned is people aren't looking to have companies come in that aren't actually looking to impact day-by-day lives of consumers and bring value to them and bring value to the business community. So coming in there, I wasn't looking to export my team. I was looking to actually build new teams. So I needed immediately to understand how I can set up branches, set up offices in these countries. I need to find out how I can do the recruitment job in these countries. What we do in advertising and marketing is specialized. I need to find ways in which I could actually get a team that is going to be able to deliver the work that we wanted to deliver so well and so world-class to our clients. And spending time in the market, it was absolutely a blessing to be part of a global network like EO that has 18,000 entrepreneurs, that has 220 chapters all over the world, that has people that have done business in some of these markets. Going into a francophone country, immediately, you know, you have to consider the language. You have to consider that business language is French in that country, and that's how all of your advertising is going to literally be iterated. So for me, being a part of a network where I can literally drop a message to 18,000 entrepreneurs at any given time and say, I'm going into Kenya. This is what my need state is. Where, who, how, and what can I do to empower myself? And immediately be flooded with information that helps you to actually, you know, sometimes the referral is so executive and so influential that you literally end up with a decision maker that can literally make or break how you operate in that market. And the benefit of that is our company was able to come through tough conditions during COVID. Our country was able to go into markets that are literally absolutely exciting to be in, but tough to operate in if you don't have the support structures that you need. And being a part of EO has definitely been a game changer in my business almost from day one. In year one, I had grown actually my revenue. I doubled my revenue in the first year of being a part of EO, which I thought that's kind of crazy, you know. And it wasn't necessarily off of a low base then. Of course, you know, then COVID came along. But that said, you know, the skills to stay in play, to be anchored and to be grounded, with access to their Ivy League programs, with access to their forums, which are basically a personal board.
Yeah.
So I think we all have boards and businesses, but none that actually support you as an entrepreneur. And as so many people say, entrepreneurship can be extremely isolating. It's not always that you can be and share everything transparently with your team, even though for us that's a big sort of like goal, is to have transparency with our teams and to partner them in what we deliver and do. And then you have so few people that know about these networks and can access them. And they're all trying to do fantastic work.
And that's exactly what I actually want to come to, because somebody listening to this now is saying, I want my company to scale like a Roth Media did. I want to be a CEO of a Vitrex as well, of a global company. How do I get involved in this? And I guess the easy answer is let's come to the conference on Sunday. So before I let you go, I need those details to be shared with us, please.
Absolutely. So the conference on Sunday kicks off at Alto. It is available for digital tickets as well as for day passes, as well as for a weekend pass, which gets you such a fantastic, I think, business immersion with like-minded people, where you can enjoy the full benefits of the conference and be close to the I think the speakers, be close to the network that you're looking for in order to enable your business. We kick off at Alto. We will be at Alto. Then we go off to Cradle Moon Lakeside, where we will spend 2 days in conference with some of the most incredible speakers, all from different industries that benefit the members. So we looked at the member base. We looked at the industries that are very prevalent in Africa. And then we went ahead and also looked to get some regulatory insights from the African Union, etc., that will also be part of our speakers at the event.
It sounds very, very exciting. I am unfortunately out of time, but this is a very exciting conversation.
It really is.
All the best with this conference as well. Thank you so much to you both for joining us this evening at News at Prime.